Admiral Kresh commanded the first invasion fleet from the bridge of the warship Eternal Conquest. He was a decorated veteran of 40 campaigns, and he did not believe in ghosts or fairy tales. When High Command sent him orders to withdraw from human space, he read them 3 times and then deleted them. "They have gone soft," he told his officers. "Grand Admiral Vethis has been fooled by human trickery. We will proceed as planned." His fleet of 500 warships approached the human colony of New Terra. It was a rich world, perfect for Kavresh colonization. The scans showed cities, farms, and industry. Also a disappointing lack of military defenses, just a few orbital platforms and patrol ships. Nothing that could stop a determined invasion. "Sir, we are receiving a transmission," his communications officer reported. "Put it on screen." A human appeared. She was young, wearing a simple gray uniform. Behind her, Kresh could see what looked like a command center, but it was strangely empty. Just a handful of humans at various stations. "I am Captain Williams of the Human Confederacy Defense Force," she said. "You are entering protected space. Turn back now. This is your only warning," Kresh laughed. "One ship warns 500? Your arrogance is amusing, human. Surrender your world and we will be merciful." "I am not on a ship," Captain Williams said. Her expression did not change. "And you have 11 hours and 59 minutes to withdraw." The transmission ended. Kresh stared at the blank screen, irritated. Where was that transmission coming from? "Analyzing now, sir." His technical officer worked frantically. "Sir, the signal originated from the planet's surface, from the capital city." "They are calling their bluff from behind their defenses," Kresh said. "Pathetic. All ships battle formation. Prepare to bombard the orbital platforms." But then his sensor officer spoke up and her voice trembled. "Admiral, I am detecting anomalies in the surrounding space." "What kind of anomalies?" "Ships, sir. Lots of ships. They are uncloaking." The tactical display lit up like a festival night. Red markers appeared everywhere, surrounding the Kavresh fleet in a complete sphere. Kresh counted them frantically. 100 ships. 500. 1,000. 2,000. The numbers kept climbing. "How many?" he whispered. 10,007, Admiral." His sensor officer's scales had turned pale with fear. "They have us completely surrounded." Kresh felt his blood run cold. 10,000 ships. 20 times his fleet's strength. And they had been there all along, invisible, waiting. "How did we not detect them?" he demanded. "Their stealth technology is beyond anything we have encountered, sir. They could have destroyed us at any time." Kresh stared at the display. He was a warrior, trained never to back down. But he was not a fool. This was not a battle he could win. "Open a channel to the human captain," he ordered. Captain Williams appeared again. "Yes, Admiral? What do you want?" "I want you to leave. You now have 11 hours and 42 minutes. "And if we refuse?" Williams pulled up a display. It showed detailed schematics of Kavresh biology, culture, military tactics, and vulnerabilities. It showed economic models of the Dominion with precise points of failure highlighted. It showed political maps with instability zones marked. It showed family trees of every Kavresh officer in the fleet, with their locations and daily routines. "We know everything about you," Williams said. "We have studied you. We have infiltrated you. We have prepared for you. If you attack, we will not just defeat your fleet. We will follow you home. We will dismantle your civilization piece by piece. It will take approximately 150 years, and when we are done, the galaxy will forget the Kavresh ever existed." "You are bluffing. Ask the Vex Thor Empire. Ask the Cathari Swarm. Ask the Zarn Collective, the Helios Concordat, the Drathan Empire, or the Oran Federation." Williams leaned forward. "Oh wait, you cannot. Because they are all extinct. We killed them all. Every single one." Kresh wanted to deny it, but he had read Commander Zelthus's reports. He had seen the evidence. And looking at the 10,000 ships surrounding his fleet, he believed. "Why give us a warning at all?" he asked. "Why not just destroy us?" For the first time, Captain Williams' expression softened. "Because we are tired, Admiral. We are so very tired of killing. We have been at war for 50,000 years. We win every time, and every time it destroys a little more of who we are." She paused. "We do not want to add your names to our memorials. Please, just leave." Kresh looked around his bridge. His officers were watching him, waiting for orders. He thought about his family back home. His children. His grandchildren. Did he want them to live in a galaxy where humanity was hunting them? Did he want to be remembered as the admiral who doomed his entire species? "How do I know this is not a trick?" he asked. "How do I know you will not attack after we leave?" "You do not," Williams admitted. "But consider this. Commander Zeltis and Grand Admiral Vethis are alive and safe. They violated our space and we let them go. We could have killed them. We did not. We want peace, Admiral. We desperately want peace." Kresh made his decision. He had not survived 40 campaigns by being stubborn. He survived by knowing when to fight and when to retreat. "All ships," he ordered. "Stand down weapons. Prepare to withdraw." Some of his officers protested, but Kresh overruled them. The fleet began turning away from New Terra. As they did, the human ships parted, creating a clear path home. "Thank you," Captain Williams said. "You have saved billions of lives today. Both yours and ours." The transmission ended. Kresh's fleet left human space and did not look back. But Kresh was curious. Before he left, he sent one final message to Williams. "Tell me something. What really happened to the others? Why did 6 civilizations fail where we succeeded?" The response came hours later as his fleet crossed back into Dominion space. It was not from Captain Williams, but from Dr. Sarah Chen, and attached to her message was a file labeled, "Complete Historical Record, The 6 Extinctions." Kresh spent the next week reading it. The full unedited truth about what happened to the others. The Vexthor Empire had attacked humanity without provocation. They were powerful, controlling 1,000 worlds. They saw humans as primitive animals to be exterminated or enslaved. The war lasted 200 years. Humanity learned warfare from scratch, studying every Kavrish tactic, every weakness. They infiltrated Kavrish society, spreading disease specifically designed for Kavrish biology. They triggered economic collapse and civil war. They hunted down every Vexthor world systematically. When it was over, the Kavresh people did not even remember they had once been called Vexthor. Humanity had erased that history so completely that the Dominion forgot its own past. The Cathari swarm came 3,000 years later. They were insectoid, operating through hive minds. They saw humans as useful livestock, good for labor and genetic harvesting. They enslaved entire human worlds. Humanity studied them for decades, learning how their hive communication worked. Then they released a pathogen that specifically targeted Cathari reproductive systems. Within 2 generations, the Cathari were extinct. Every hive world fell silent. The species died slowly, knowing what was happening but unable to stop it. The Zarn Collective were artificial intelligences. They had no empathy for biological life. They harvested human worlds for raw materials, recycling humans along with everything else. Humanity could not fight them with biological weapons, so they fought with code. Human hackers infiltrated the Zarn networks, rewriting their base programming. They made the Zarn AIs see each other as threats. The machines destroyed themselves in a galaxy-wide civil war that lasted 400 years. By the end, not a single Zarn AI remained functional. The Helios Concordat were the cruelest. They were scientists who believed in progress at any cost. They captured humans for experiments, trying to understand human adaptability and resilience. Thousands died in their laboratories, tortured in the name of science. Humanity responded by learning quantum physics at a level never seen before. They engineered the Helios homestar to go supernova. Every Helios world burned simultaneously. The species had 1 hour of warning, knowing death was coming but unable to escape. The Drathan Empire tried to intimidate humanity. They destroyed Earth's moon as a show of force, killing millions in the resulting tsunamis and tidal disasters. They demanded humanity's total surrender. Instead, humanity infiltrated the Drathan government at every level. They spent 3 centuries turning every faction against each other, fueling paranoia and hatred. The Drathans fought a civil war so vicious that it destroyed their entire civilization from within. When the last Drathan died, it was at the hands of another Drathan, and they never knew humans had orchestrated it all. The Orin Federation was the most recent extinction, only 2,000 years ago. They knew about humanity's history. Ancient records warned them about the danger, but they believed they were smarter, stronger, better prepared. They launched a war of extermination, determined to wipe out the human threat before it could destroy them too. Humanity fought back with everything they had learned from 5 previous wars. They hunted the Orin across the galaxy for 1,000 years. They erased every colony, every ship, every trace. They even removed the Orin home star system from galactic navigation databases. The Orin did not just go extinct. They were forgotten as if they had never existed at all. But he also saw determination. If the Kavresh attacked, The humans woo the emergency summit took place on New Hebrides 3 days later. The Kavresh High Command had finally responded to Zeltis's desperate transmissions. They sent 3 representatives, all high-ranking military officers who arrived with an escort of 20 warships. It was meant as a show of strength, but Zeltis noticed that the humans had not reacted to the ships at all. They simply allowed them to enter orbit without comment. Grand Admiral Vethis led the Dominion delegation. She was old, her scales faded to pale gray, and she had commanded fleets for 40 years. She listened to Zeltis's report with growing anger. "You are telling me that this species, these humans, claim to have destroyed 6 galactic civilizations?" Vethis demanded, "including our own ancestors?" "This is absurd. The evidence is overwhelming, Grand Admiral," Zeltis said. He displayed the archaeological findings, the ancient footage, the documentation. They did not just defeat these civilizations. They erased them so completely that we forgot they existed. "Or they are lying," Vethis countered, "using fabricated evidence to frighten us. This is a psychological warfare tactic, Commander, and you have fallen for it." Dr. Chen, who had been sitting quietly, finally spoke. "Grand Admiral, we understand your skepticism. We expected it. May I show you something else?" She activated a display. It showed the current positions of all Kavresh military forces in the region. Every ship, every base, every patrol route. The information was real-time and completely accurate. Vethis' scales flushed with shock. "How do you have this data?" Vethis demanded. "We have been inside your systems for 3 weeks," Dr. Chen said calmly. "We can access any Kavresh network, any database, any communication channel. We have already infiltrated your government, your military, and your financial systems. If we wanted to, we could crash your economy right now. We could turn your automated defense systems against you. We could release a pathogen that would sterilize your entire species within a generation." "You are bluffing." Dr. Chen touched a control. Suddenly, every Kavresh officer in the room received an alert on their personal communication devices. When they opened the messages, they found detailed information about themselves. Family names, medical histories, bank accounts, private communications. Even their most secret files were laid bare. "We are not bluffing," Dr. Chen said. "We are trying to save your lives." Vethis stood abruptly. "This is an act of war. You have violated our sovereignty." "You violated ours when you entered our space with military forces," Dr. Chen replied. Her voice remained calm, but Zeltis could hear the steel underneath. "You came to conquer. We are simply showing you why that would be a mistake." Another Kavresh officer, General Krath, leaned forward. "Let us say we believe you. Let us say you are as dangerous as you claim."
"Why have you not attacked us already?"
"You had 3 weeks to strike while we were vulnerable." "Because we do not want to fight," Dr. Chen said. She looked at each of them in turn. "Grand Admiral, General, officers of the Dominion. We are not your enemy. We do not want to be your enemy. We are offering you something we have never offered before. Complete amnesty. Withdraw your forces from our space, leave this region, and we will forget you were ever here. No retaliation. No consequences. Just go." "And if we refuse?" Vethis asked. Dr. Chen's expression became infinitely sad. "Then you will become the 7th. And in 200 years some other species will enter this region, find your ruins, and wonder what happened to the Kavresh." The room fell silent. Zeltis could see the other officers struggling with the decision. On one hand, they wanted to believe this was a bluff, that the humans were weak and frightened. On the other hand, the evidence was overwhelming. General Krath spoke again. "Our invasion fleets are already approaching your outer colonies. They have orders to secure those systems by force. Can you stop them?" "Yes," Dr. Chen said simply. "How many ships do you have?" "Enough." "That is not an answer," Vethis snapped. Dr. Chen pulled up another display. It showed the 3 Kavresh invasion fleets, each consisting of 500 warships. They were powerful forces, designed to overwhelm any opposition. But as Zeltis watched, the display zoomed out, and he saw the human ships. They had been there all along, invisible to Kavresh sensors. 10,000 ships surrounded each invasion fleet. They had been shadowing the Kavresh forces since they entered the zone, waiting, watching. "We have been ready for 3 weeks," Dr. Chen said. "Your fleets never had a chance." Vethis stared at the display. "If you have such overwhelming force, why not simply destroy us?" "Because we remember what it feels like," Dr. Chen said. Her voice cracked with emotion. "We remember being the ones who were weak. We remember watching our worlds burn. We remember helplessness and fear. We do not want to make others feel that way, even when we have the power to do so. She pulled up another image. It showed a human monument, a vast wall carved with names. Billions of names. Human names. Alien names. Every sentient being killed in 6 wars recorded for eternity. We remember them all, Dr. Chen said. Every human who died. Every alien who died. We carry that weight. And we do not want to add your names to this wall. Zelthus saw several of the Kavresh officers looking uncomfortable. They were warriors trained to fight and conquer. But this was something different. This was a species that had won every war and hated themselves for it. What would happen if we attacked? Zelthus asked quietly. What is your plan? Dr. Chen hesitated, then pulled up a classified file. Our military doctrine is called the Never Again Protocol. It has 3 phases. The first phase appeared on screen. Phase 1, warning. We send a single ship to deliver one final warning. We give you 12 hours to withdraw, and if we do not, Phase 2, demonstration. We disable one of your fleets, not destroy, disable. We show you that we can take away your ability to fight without killing anyone. You get another 12 hours to reconsider. And if we still refuse, Dr. Chen's expression became cold. Phase 3, extinction. We do not hold back. We do not show mercy. We use every weapon, every tactic, every method we have developed over 47,000 years. We infiltrate your worlds, crash your systems, spread disease, trigger civil war, and hunt down every last member of your species. We do not stop until you are gone. How long would it take? Vethis asked. Her voice was barely a whisper. For a civilization of your size? Approximately 150 years. We have already done the calculations. The room was silent. Zelthus looked at his fellow officers and saw fear in their eyes. Real primal fear. The Dominion had never encountered a species like this. A species that was genuinely peaceful but absolutely ruthless when threatened. Finally, Vethis spoke. You said you offer amnesty. What are your terms? Simple, Dr. Chen said. Withdraw all military forces from this region immediately. Return to your own space. Remove all references to this zone from your databases. Tell your people you found nothing of value here. Never come back. And if we agree, how do we know you will not attack us later? You do not, Dr. Chen admitted. You will have to trust us. But consider this. We have been watching you for 3 weeks. We could have struck at any time. We chose not to. We chose to offer you this chance. Vethis looked at Zelthus. Commander, you have spent more time with these humans than any of us. What is your recommendation? Zelthus thought carefully before answering. He remembered the peaceful cities, the friendly humans, the children playing in parks. But he also remembered the monuments, the memorials, the deep sadness in Dr. Chen's eyes. Grand Admiral, I believe they are telling the truth, Zelthus said. They do not want to fight. But if we force them to, they will destroy us. Completely. Utterly. And they will document every moment of it. And they will build monuments to our dead. And they will mourn us for the next 40,000 years. But we will still be extinct. You are saying we should surrender. I am saying we should be wise enough to walk away from a fight we cannot win. Vethis stood and walked to the window. Outside, the human city continued its peaceful existence. Families, workers, students, all unaware that their future hung in the balance. Very well, Vethis said finally. We will withdraw, but I want guarantees. What kind of guarantees? Dr. Chen asked. I want proof that you will leave us alone. I want a treaty. I want assurances that humanity will not expand into our space. Dr. Chen smiled sadly. Grand Admiral, we do not expand. We have not claimed a new world in 45,000 years. We stay here in our small corner of the galaxy, and we hope that no one finds us. But they always do. She paused. If you want a treaty, we will give you one. We will promise never to enter your space, never to threaten your people. All we ask in return is that you leave us alone. Agreed, Vethis said. She extended her hand in the Kavresh gesture of accord. Dr. Chen took it. Thank you. You have no idea how much this means to us. As the Kavresh delegation prepared to leave, Zelthus approached Dr. Chen one last time. What will you do now? He asked. We will reset the counter, she said. The counter? She showed him a simple digital display. It read, Days since last extinction event, 47,293. We keep track, Dr. Chen explained, to remind ourselves what we are capable of, what we must never become again, She smiled. Thanks to your G. Zelthus confronted Dr. Chen the next morning. He brought Kresh and Prith with him, along with all the archaeological evidence they had gathered. They met in a secure human facility deep underground. The walls were thick metal, and Zelthus noticed blast doors at every intersection. This was not a diplomatic building. It was a bunker. We found Kavresh bodies on the dead worlds, Zelthus said without preamble. Our people were here before. 50,000 years ago. Dr. Chen looked tired. She had dark circles under her eyes as if she had not slept. Yes, she said simply. You were the first. The first to what? To die? The first to attack us. She gestured to a wall screen. It flickered to life, showing images that made Zelthus' stomach turn. Ancient footage, grainy but clear enough. Kavresh warships firing on human colonies. Cities burning. Humans running, screaming. Bodies in the streets. Your ancestors called themselves the Vexthor Empire, Dr. Chen said. They encountered us when we were young, barely established on a few worlds. We tried to communicate. We offered peace. The images shifted. They responded with bombardment. Zelthus watched as the footage showed human worlds being destroyed one after another. Billions dead in fire and nuclear holocaust. The Kavresh ships moved methodically from planet to planet, wiping out the defenseless human colonies. We had no military, Dr. Chen continued. We were scientists, farmers, families. We never thought we would need weapons. Her voice became hollow. We learned. The footage jumped forward in time. Now it showed human ships, crude and improvised at first. They lost badly against the Kavresh warships, but the humans kept building, kept adapting. The timeline accelerated. It took us 50 years to match your technology, Dr. Chen said. Another 50 to surpass it. But we did not stop there. The footage became disturbing. Human scientists studying captured Kavresh, learning their biology, their psychology, their culture. Not with kindness, but with clinical precision. We learned everything about you, Dr. Chen said. How you think. How you breed. What you fear. What diseases affect you. How your economy works. How your government functions. We studied you the way you might study an insect before you exterminate it. Zelthus wanted to look away but forced himself to watch. The footage showed human infiltrators genetically modified to look like Kavresh. They spread through the Vexthor Empire, gathering intelligence. Then came the wars, but these were not normal wars. The humans did not send massive fleets to attack. Instead, they struck with surgical precision. They poisoned water supplies with species-specific bioweapons. They crashed economic systems by manipulating trade data. They turned Kavresh against each other by spreading carefully crafted propaganda. They released modified viruses that targeted Kavresh reproductive systems. World after world fell not to invasion, but to collapse. Civil wars erupted. Plagues spread. The economy shattered. And through it all, humanity documented everything with meticulous care. It took 200 years, Dr. Chen said. 200 years to reduce the Vexthor Empire from a civilization spanning 1,000 worlds to extinction. We did not stop until every single one of you was dead. The final footage showed the last Kavresh world, a handful of survivors in bunkers trying desperately to rebuild. Human ships appeared in orbit, but they did not fire weapons. Instead, they landed troops. The camera followed them into the bunkers. What happened next made Zelthus close his eyes. We were thorough, Dr. Chen said softly. We wanted to make sure you could never hurt anyone again. That is genocide, Zelthus whispered. Yes. Dr. Chen did not deny it. We held tribunals afterward. We documented every action, every death, every atrocity we committed. We called it the first extinction event. We swore it would be the last. She paused. We were wrong. She pulled up more files. 5 more species, 5 more extinction events spread across 47,000 years. Each time, the pattern was the same. The Cathari swarm had encountered humans 3,000 years after the Vexthor extinction. They had found peaceful human colonies and decided to enslave them. The Cathari used humans for labor, for experiments, for entertainment. They thought humans were livestock. We spent 400 years killing every Cathari in the galaxy, Dr. Chen said. The footage showed human scientists developing a pathogen specifically designed for Cathari biology. It spread through their hive structures, sterilizing them. Within a generation, they were extinct. The Zarn Collective came next. They were artificial intelligences, machines that had no empathy for biological life. They tried to harvest human worlds for raw materials, seeing humans as nothing more than carbon to be recycled. We could not kill machines with disease, Dr. Chen said. So we learned their code. We infiltrated their networks. We turned them against themselves. We made them destroy each other while thinking they were defending themselves from external threats. The Helios Concordat had been the worst. They were scientists like humans, but they had no ethics. They captured humans for genetic experiments, trying to unlock the secrets of human adaptability. Thousands of humans died in their laboratories, tortured in the name of research. We engineered their sun, Dr. Chen said simply. The footage showed a star going nova, incinerating every Helios world simultaneously. We learned quantum manipulation just for them. We wanted them to die knowing it was coming, unable to escape. The Drathan Empire made the mistake of trying to intimidate humanity. They destroyed Earth's moon as a demonstration of power, killing millions in the tidal disasters that followed. They demanded humanity's surrender. We triggered a civil war that lasted 300 years, Dr. Chen said. We infiltrated their government at every level. We turned every faction against each other. By the end, they were so busy fighting themselves that they forgot we existed. When the last Drathan died, it was at the hands of another Drathan. The Orin Federation was the most recent. Only 2,000 years ago, they had been warned by ancient records about humans. They knew the history, but they believed they were stronger, smarter, better prepared. They launched a war of extermination against humanity, determined to wipe out the threat. We spent 1,000 years hunting them, Dr. Chen said. We erased every colony, every ship, every trace of their existence. We did not stop until the galaxy itself forgot they had ever existed. Even their home star system was removed from navigational databases. Zeltis stared at the screen, his mind struggling to process what he had seen. 6 civilizations, 6 total genocides, each one documented with horrifying precision. Why do you document it? He asked. Why keep records of your crimes? Because they are crimes, Dr. Chen replied. We hold ourselves accountable. Every human knows this history. Every human child learns about the wars in school. We teach them what we did and why we should never do it again. Her voice broke. We teach them what it costs to become monsters even when you have no choice. She pulled up another file. This one showed something different. Human art, music, literature spanning 40,000 years, and all of it was filled with grief, guilt, and trauma. Memorials on every human world. Museums dedicated to the extinct species. Monuments carved with billions of names, both human and alien. We won every war, Dr. Chen said, but we never recovered. Our culture has been defined by guilt and sorrow for 47,000 years. We tried to isolate ourselves, to be forgotten, to never have to fight again. She looked at Zeltis with tears in her eyes. And now you are here. And your Dominion is sending more fleets, and we will have to do it all over again. No, Zeltis said. We will leave. We will tell our government what we learned. Dr. Chen shook her head sadly. Your government will not believe you. They will think we have manipulated you, or that you have gone mad. They will see our apparent weakness and press the attack. She pulled up a new file on the screen. It was a Kavresh military plan. Zeltis recognized it immediately because he had seen it in secure Dominion files just 3 weeks ago. It detailed invasion strategies for the zone, resource allocation plans, and colonization timelines. How do you have this? Zeltis demanded. We have been inside your network since the moment you crossed the border, Dr. Chen said. We have infiltrated your communications, your computers, your databases. We know everything about the Kavresh Dominion. Your military strength, your economic vulnerabilities, your political factions, your biology. She paused. We have already developed 3 separate extinction protocols for your species. It took us 11 days, Zeltis felt his legs weaken. 11 days? We are very good at this now, Dr. Chen said. We have 47,000 years of experience. We know how to kill entire species efficiently and thoroughly. We do not want to, but we can. What do you want from me? Stop your fleets, Dr. Chen said. Convince your government to withdraw. Leave this region and never come back, please. She reached across the table and gripped his hand. Her touch was warm, surprisingly gentle. I do not want to add Kavresh names to our memorials. I do not want to teach human children about the 7th extinction event. I do not want to spend the next 200 years watching your people die by our hands. Zeltis looked into her eyes and saw genuine anguish there. The humans did not want this war. They truly were peaceful people forced to become killers over and over again. The human colony world hung before them like a painting. New Hebrides, the humans called it. From orbit, Zeltis could see cities that sprawled across continents, farmland in geometric patterns, and oceans dotted with structures. It looked peaceful, normal, nothing like the abandoned horror worlds they had explored. "They are hailing us, Commander," the communications officer reported. "Audio and visual. They are speaking in 47 different languages simultaneously?" Zeltis blinked in surprise. "They know our language? They are speaking every major language in the galactic database, Commander, including ones from extinct species." That sent a chill down Zeltis' spine. How did humans know languages from civilizations that had been dead for thousands of years? Unless they had been here studying the ruins just as the Kavresh had done. "Put them on screen," Zeltis ordered. The view screen flickered to life. A human appeared sitting in what looked like a government office. She had dark skin, short black hair touched with gray, and wore simple blue clothing. Her face was remarkably similar to Kavresh facial structure, with 2 eyes, a nose, and a mouth. But there was something in those eyes that made Zeltis pause. They were intelligent, calculating, and very, very old. "Greetings," the human said in perfect Kavresh. Her mouth movements did not quite match the sounds, so she must have been using a translation device. "I am Dr. Sarah Chen, diplomatic representative for the Human Confederacy. Welcome to New Hebrides. We have been expecting visitors." "Expecting?" Zeltis asked. "How did you know we were coming?" "Your quantum signatures appeared at the border 3 weeks ago," Dr. Chen said with a slight smile. "We have monitoring stations throughout this region. We knew you entered the zone the moment you crossed the boundary. Then why did you not contact us sooner? We wanted to see what you would do, where you would go, what conclusions you would draw." Her smile faded. "You visited the dead worlds. You found the warning beacons. And yet you came here anyway." Zeltis felt his scales flush with embarrassment. The humans had been watching them the entire time. "We are explorers and diplomats, Dr. Chen. The Kavresh Dominion seeks peaceful contact with new civilizations." "Of course," Dr. Chen said, but something in her tone suggested she did not entirely believe him. "Would you like to come to the surface? We can discuss trade, cultural exchange, and matters of mutual interest." Zeltis agreed. He took 50 guards with him, all armed. The shuttle descended through the atmosphere and landed in a city called New Geneva. As they walked through the streets, Zeltis observed everything carefully. The humans were bipedal, like the Kavresh, but shorter and less heavily built. They had no scales or natural armor. They looked fragile, with soft skin and no visible weapons on their bodies. Many of them smiled at the Kavresh visitors, and some even waved. Children ran up to stare at them with open curiosity. They seemed genuinely peaceful, friendly even. But Zeltis noticed other things too. Every building had reinforced foundations. The streets had covers that could slide closed, turning them into tunnels. And everywhere he looked, he saw elevator shafts going down. Not just basements, but deep underground construction. "Your architecture is interesting," Zeltis commented as they walked. "You build as much below ground as above." "Old habit," Dr. Chen replied. "Our ancestors valued being prepared for anything." They entered a government complex where human officials waited to greet them. The meeting lasted for hours. The humans offered trade agreements, cultural exchanges, and scientific cooperation. They were polite, generous, and accommodating to every Kavresh request. It all seemed too perfect. That evening, Zeltis met privately with his senior officers in their shuttle. "Something is wrong here," he said. "These humans are too welcoming, too prepared. They are hiding something." "Perhaps they are simply a peaceful species, Commander," Prith suggested. "Not everyone is aggressive." "Peaceful species do not survive in this region," Zeltis countered. 6 civilizations were destroyed here, yet the humans thrive. How? His intelligence officer, a scarred veteran named Kresh, spoke up. "Commander, I did some investigation while you were in meetings. I accessed their public networks. The humans have extensive historical records available to anyone who asks. And they have detailed files on all 6 of the extinct species. The Vexthor, the Cathari, all of them. Not just basic information, but extensive data. Cultural practices, biological specifications, military capabilities, political structures. They studied the ruins," Zeltis said, "as we did. More than that, Commander." Kresh's eyes were troubled. "The files are labeled with a strange designation. They call them war crimes tribunals. Each extinct species has a tribunal file marked as settled. The room fell silent. War crimes meant war. Tribunals meant judgments, punishments. Settled meant completed. Get me more information, Zeltis ordered. I want to know everything about these tribunals. Over the next few days, the Kavresh delegation explored New Hebrides, while their intelligence team worked in secret. The humans remained hospitable, showing them factories, farms, and cultural centers. But Zeltis could not shake his suspicion. On the fourth day, Dr. Chen invited him to a private dinner. They sat alone in a restaurant overlooking the city. Human food was surprisingly compatible with Kavresh biology, and the meal was excellent. But Zeltis barely tasted it. Dr. Chen, he said finally, I must ask you directly. What happened to the others? The 6 civilizations that came before us? Dr. Chen set down her fork. For a long moment, she stared out the window at the city lights. When she spoke, her voice was soft and sad. They made a mistake, she said. They assumed we were weak. Were they right? No. She turned to look at him. Commander Zeltis, how much do you know about human history? Very little. Your species does not appear in any galactic databases. That is intentional. We removed ourselves from those databases 47,000 years ago. She took a breath. We did this because we did not want to be found. We did not want anyone else to come here. Why? Because every time someone finds us, the same thing happens. They see our soft bodies, our emotional nature, our apparent weakness. They see easy prey, and they attack. Her eyes hardened. And then we have to remind them why this region of space has been abandoned for 50,000 years. Zeltis felt his blood turn cold. The warnings. They do not forget. They do not forgive. That refers to humans? Yes. But your people seem so peaceful, so gentle. We are, Dr. Chen said. Until we are not. Commander, please, ask your people to leave this region. Go back to your dominion. Tell them you found nothing of value here. Tell them the zone is too dangerous. Tell them anything. Just leave. Why? Are you threatening us? No. Dr. Chen's voice cracked with emotion. I am begging you. Do not make us remember what we had to become. Do not make us do it again. Before Zeltis could respond, Kresh's voice came through his communication device. Commander, you need to return to the shuttle immediately. We found something. Something terrible. Zeltis excused himself and hurried back. In the shuttle, Kresh had pulled up files on the main display. Archaeological data from one of the abandoned worlds. We went back to Site 7, Commander. We did a deeper excavation. We found a mass grave beneath the ruins. The screen showed skeletons, hundreds of them buried in a pit. But these were not ancient bones. The scanning data showed they were relatively recent, perhaps only a few thousand years old. Are those... Zeltis began. Kavresh, Kresh confirmed. Commander, those are Kavresh bodies. Our species. Our people. That is impossible. We never sent expeditions to this region until now. Look at the DNA analysis. Kresh pulled up more data. They are Kavresh, but the genetic markers are ancient. These individuals lived 50,000 years ago. Zeltis stared at the screen, his mind racing. 50,000 years ago. The same time the first expedition entered the zone. The Vexthor expedition? The Vexthor were not a species name, he said slowly. It was a translation error. The Vexthor Empire was the old name for the Kavresh Dominion. His officers stared at him in horror. The implications crashed down on all of them like a physical weight. The Kavresh had been here before. 50,000 years ago, their ancestors had sent a fleet into this zone. They had found these paradise worlds. They had tried to settle, and the humans had killed them all. Every single one. The Dominion had forgotten their history lost over tens of thousands of years. But the humans had not forgotten. Dr. Chen's words echoed in Zeltis's mind. They do not forget. They do not forgive. We need to leave, Zeltis said. Now, we need to warn the Dominion. But even as he said it, he knew it was too late. The High Command had already dispatched 3 more fleets to this region, seeing the silence as confirmation that the zone was safe. They were coming to conquer these paradise worlds. They were coming to make war with humans. And if the mass graves were any indication, humanity had won that war before, decisively, completely. 50,000 years ago, they had faced the Kavresh Empire at the height of its power, and they had erased it so thoroughly that the Dominion did not even remember it had existed. Commander Zeltis stood on the bridge of the warship Dominion's Pride, staring at the star maps with growing unease. The holographic display showed a vast region of space marked in red. His superiors called it Quarantine Zone 77. The ancient records called it something else. The Silent Border. "Commander, we are approaching the boundary," his navigation officer announced. The young Kavrish's scales flickered with nervous energy, shifting from blue to pale green. Zelthus nodded slowly. The fourth fleet of the Kavrish Dominion consisted of 200 warships, enough firepower to conquer most civilizations. They had been sent here on a simple mission: explore the zone and claim any habitable worlds for the expanding empire. The Dominion needed more space, more resources, more planets for their growing population. But Zelthus had spent the last 3 weeks reading everything he could find about this region. The data troubled him deeply. "Tell me again," he said to his research officer, a thin Kavresh named Prith. "How many expeditions entered this zone?" Prith's fingers danced across his console, pulling up ancient files. 6 confirmed expeditions, Commander. The first was 50,000 years ago. The Vexthor Empire sent a colonization fleet of 1,000 ships. They reported finding dozens of perfect worlds already terraformed and empty. Then all contact ceased. And the others? Similar patterns across 47,000 years. The Cathari Swarm, the Zarn Collective, the Helios Concordat, the Drathan Empire, and the Orin Federation. Each civilization was powerful in its time. Each sent substantial forces into the zone. None ever returned or sent any messages back. Zelthus felt his dorsal spine stiffen. 6 civilizations all gone. And our high command thinks we will be different? Prith hesitated. Commander, those civilizations are extinct now. Perhaps whatever danger existed here destroyed them and is now gone. The zone has been silent for thousands of years. Or perhaps, Zelthus said quietly, the danger is still here, and that is why those civilizations are extinct. The fleet crossed the boundary. Immediately, their quantum communicators stopped working. The connection to Dominion space simply vanished as if someone had cut a cable. "Report," Zelthus barked. "Communication arrays are functional," the technical officer reported. "All systems show green, but we cannot establish a link back home. It is as if the rest of the galaxy does not exist anymore." Zelthus forced himself to remain calm. "We expected this from the historical records. Continue on course. We will restore communications once we complete our survey." The fleet moved deeper into the zone. The first planet they encountered took Zelthus's breath away. It hung in space like a blue and green jewel, clouds swirling across its surface. The scanners showed Earth-normal gravity, breathable atmosphere, vast oceans and continents. "Life signs?" Zelthus asked. "Vegetation, animals, but no sentient life. No cities, no technology." The scanner officer paused. "Wait, I am detecting structures. They are old, buried under vegetation, but they are there." Zelthus ordered a landing party. He went himself, leading 50 soldiers down to the surface. They landed near what the scanners identified as the largest structure cluster. The ruins were massive. Towers that once reached toward the sky now lay broken and covered in vines. Zelthus walked through streets where unknown beings had once lived and worked. Everything was intact but abandoned, as if the entire population had simply vanished one day. "Commander, you should see this," one of his soldiers called. Zelthus found her standing before a wall covered in symbols. They were not Kavresh symbols, but something far older. His translation device struggled with the language, producing only fragments. "Warning. Do not. They will come. Run while you still can. Scan everything," Zelthus ordered. "I want to know who built this city and what happened to them." Over the next week, the fleet found 17 more planets. All were habitable. All showed signs of multiple civilizations. Archaeological evidence painted a disturbing picture. These worlds had been colonized, built up, and then suddenly abandoned. In some places, they found traces of desperate evacuations. Ships launched in chaos, belongings left behind, meals still on tables. But strangest of all were the monuments they found on 3 different worlds, tall spires made of an indestructible alloy, broadcasting a signal on all frequencies. When they finally cracked the encryption, they found the same message repeated in 47 different languages. Most of the languages were dead, extinct, along with the species that spoke them. But Prith worked for days to translate them. Finally, he brought his findings to Zelthus. "The message is a warning," Prith said. His voice shook slightly. "It says this space is claimed. Leave now. They do not forget. They do not forgive. This is your only warning," 6 came before you. 6 learned too late. Do not become the 7th. Zelthus read the translation 3 times. Who are they? Who is claiming this space? The message does not say, Commander. But I found something else. Prith displayed another document. I cross-referenced the archaeological evidence from all 17 planets. Each world shows signs of 6 different colonization attempts across 50,000 years. The timeline matches perfectly with the 6 expeditions that entered this zone. So these ruins are from the Vexthor, the Catharii, and the others? Yes, Commander. They came here, found paradise, and settled. Then something made them flee. Those who did not flee fast enough, Prith trailed off. What happened to them? Prith showed him images from the deepest ruins. Mass graves, evidence of panic fighting. They were destroyed, Commander. Not by natural disaster or disease. By something intelligent. Something methodical. Zelthus stared at the data for a long time. Every instinct told him to turn the fleet around and leave this cursed region. But his orders were clear. The Dominion needed these worlds. And the Dominion did not retreat. Continue deeper into the zone, he ordered. Maximum alertness. All weapons armed. 3 days later, their sensors detected something new. Energy signatures. Radio transmissions. A civilization composition, Zelthus demanded. Carbon-based bilateral symmetry, similar body plan to us. Technology level appears to be Type 2 on the Kardashev scale. They have significant presence across 7 star systems. Military strength. The tactical officer frowned at his screens. Difficult to assess, Commander. They have orbital platforms and ships, but most of their assets appear to be commercial or scientific. Very few obvious warships. A peaceful species, then. Zelthus felt a mixture of relief and confusion. Have they detected us? Unknown, Commander. They have not changed their behavior patterns. What do they call themselves? The communications officer listened to the radio chatter for a moment. They have many names for themselves in different languages. But the most common term translates as humans. Zelthus made his decision. Prepare a first contact package. Standard diplomatic protocols. We will approach their nearest colony world and establish communication. As the fleet changed course toward the human colony, Zelthus felt a nagging doubt. These humans lived in the heart of the zone where 6 powerful civilizations had been destroyed. They had been here long enough to establish colonies across multiple systems. They were clearly thriving. How had they survived when all the others had failed? What did they know about what happened to the others? And most troubling of all, were the humans the reason the others had disappeared? Commander, Prith said quietly, standing beside him. Perhaps we should be more cautious. These humans may be dangerous. They are a single civilization in 7 systems, Zelthus replied. We are the Kavresh Dominion, spanning 400 systems. What threat could they possibly pose? But even as he said it, Zelthus remembered the warning. They do not forget. They do not forgive. Who were they? And were they about to find out?